Yo, what's up everyone on the channel? This is take 2 of the video. Anyway, I wanted to talk about how Instagram, social media, just in all of it it's a, like I've said in a previous video, it is a false reality. It is a false reality. And there is an issue with it being a false reality, is that everyone goes to look at it because we're trying to get away from real reality. And there's a whole conversation about it, but today I wanted to focus on fact checking and how wrong it is, but also how right it is too. There's a love and hate relationship with fact checking. Fact checking is what I would describe as when something is clearly wrong and it is either plagiarized or it's just, somebody just not saying correct facts about a certain topic or issue. It needs to be fact checked by, to me, I see it as it needs to get fact checked by unbiased people that do their research, credible research, and have credible citations and stuff like that. Something you would learn in college. Okay, but if you take that on, college is a whole nother issue that is complete biasness and brainwashing, but it is another fault. It is another false reality, by the way. It is, oh, you must go to school for 4 years and pay $100,000 in debt until you die. And if you get married, it's probably going to fall on your loved one, maybe or maybe not. It's just a whole nother false reality. Don't go to a trade school. No, you don't want to do blue collar work. Oh, no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to actually work. We don't want you to work. We want you to be lazy, blah, 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 blah. That is a whole nother conversation to talk about, because I don't understand. I don't like regular college. I like trade school because we need more trade schools. But, anyway, fact checking. The problem I see, the main issue I see with fact checking is that it is super biased. You go on Instagram, for instance, right now, most of you know that I'm pretty conservative, and I follow conservative people like Trump and the Hodge twins and Candace Owens and David Harris Jr. and Joel Patrick. Conservative people, respectful people. Anyway, so the thing that I see that is wrong is whenever I see a post made by any of those people about the election or about anything, it's like, okay, well, in most people's eyes, the election is over. So it's like, why am I not allowed to post? It's like I'm allowed to post things. Like, for instance, I saw something that Trump did that I liked. It was about the Middle East. He did another historic peace treaty, and I liked it. So I posted it to my story, and the next thing I know, it says, oh, at the bottom, Instagram came out and said, oh, well, this election has already been won. I'm like, I don't care. I already know that. I'm just posting it because I like what he did. Like, he's still the president of the United States. Why can't you get, the thing about that strikes me as an issue is that, it doesn't seem to happen when I go to other beliefs and other opinions about the election. And that's where it bothers me. It's because, don't get me wrong, I look at other perspectives a lot. There's always two sides to a story, and it's important to look at the other's perspective because it opens up other ideas. Whether or not you agree or disagree with them, it's good to understand them. And for me, the reason I do it is because it makes me have a stronger ground. Like, I ground my beliefs even stronger because of them, because I disagree or I agree with them. But anyway, you go on Facebook. Facebook is the worst. You go on there and it's like you post something and it either gets taken down immediately, or if the fact checkers from Facebook, which are usually very biased people, don't like it, that's wrong. It's wrong. It's okay to fact check. And then, another issue is I've seen videos of people getting fact check over stuff that doesn't even relate to their video on Facebook. It's like, how does that work? Like, it's basically just hiding away stories that are real stories and what people need to hear. It's literally just brainwashing people into believing one certain way, and they hate when people open their eyes and realize that all of this is going on and it needs to stop. Because if I want to go on there and look at conservative stuff and not, like, it's hard for me already to go on somewhere and see a post about Trump and be like, and I get the election crap, and I'm like, I don't care about that. I want to see the content that I like. Like, I should, in a perfect world, I should be able to go on there, look at the content that I like, and not get fact checked. Like, there's obviously a bias here. Like, we go to these false realities to get away from reality, and to, I go to, the reason why that these apps even exist is for a community of people of different perspectives and beliefs. And it's like, if we can't even share our beliefs without it getting fact checked, then what is the point of us even going on those apps? It disregards what those apps are even supposed to do as its function. Sometimes you really just have to go back to what is the basic function of Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Twitter is the worst too. But it's like, to me, what is the basic function of Facebook? It is a community app. It's like the Nextdoor app. You're supposed to go on there and share different things about the community that you live within. And why is it that if I want to post something about how I believe or how, my opinion, it shouldn't get fact checked? Like, it's an opinion. Like, has Facebook lost that much moral to realize that opinions are not always going to be true? They're called opinions for a reason. Do I have to go on there and say, this is an opinion, so Facebook fact checkers know that this is an opinion? It's so ridiculous, man. It's just like, and the problem that I see is that I've realized that a lot of people fall into this fake reality or false reality of social media so much. They're so drawn in, and it's like, man, you really need to take a step back and look at everything. It's like, it's kind of the same principle as the Apple ecosystem. I know that I'm fully embedded in the Apple ecosystem, and there are some products that I won't buy, like, for example, the new AirPods Max. I think it's just a waste of money. There are better headphones for $550. It's ridiculous, but they are a tailored to the rich company, and that's what they will do. They will sell. I mean, you can buy a new Apple phone right now for $550 for the same price as their headphones, which is ridiculous. I've had extensive discussions about this with friends and just done my own research about it. And anyway, it's the principle of the Apple ecosystem. All the time, I step outside of the Apple ecosystem, and I'm like, man, I'm really embedded in this. And sometimes you don't realize it, and you need to open your eyes and realize that is exactly how I see social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, any of them, even YouTube, is about pushing this false reality of, oh, you have to have this to live. You have to have this. No, you don't. It is a burden, really. It's a burden that it's an unnecessary burden. Like, you go out and you go to the gym and you say, oh, I'm at the gym. Like, at the end of the day, I see a post about something, I might laugh at it, or I might think, like, this is stupid, but it's funny. Or, I mean, if I see one of my friends saying they're at the gym and I know them, I might comment about it. But at the end of the day, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not thinking about what somebody else posted. Now, I might think about it because I'm a deep thinker. I'm just saying that in general, most people do not think. I need to backtrack. The only reason why, if it strikes me as interesting, I'll think about it, because I'm a deep thinker and I think about things like that, and I actually use my brain like most people do, most common sense people do, that aren't completely attached to false realities. And I've noticed that the people that are fact checkers, they don't like real thinkers. They want everybody to believe what they believe. And another thing about fact checking, man, well, this has to do with it, but not really, is it's all about, this is actually a different subject, but it's still the same principle. Well, no, this is actually, I say this correlates. to some extent, this correlates with this conversation. Words are very powerful, and if I look up election news right now, or any kind of news right now, you go on every single article, and the only way that it correlates is that most of the fact checkers on Facebook are journalists from CNN and Liberal. That's the truth. People don't like to hear the truth, but that's it. They're all biased. But that's why this correlates, because all of those articles, like Wall Street Journal, CNN, I cannot stand CNN, but CNN, all MSNBC, CBS News, ABC, Wall Street, even Fox News and New York Post, every single one of them articles, if you notice, you look at the headline, I was reading it to my dad yesterday. I was like, all these articles, they put in these adjectives to spark like outrage or an interest or some sort of emotion to people that really are unnecessary. Like, I saw an article that said something about like, oh, insane election crap, and I'm like, you could just take out the insane part and make it more real. Like, but the problem is it's all bias, and it shouldn't be like that. I mean, I hate that I have to go to a news network that is unbiased. It's hard to find. Tell me, is it hard to find an unbiased news network? It's pretty hard, because everyone has their own bias, and that's perfectly okay. But when I just want to look at the news, it's like I'm always looking at a biased perspective, and that's not right. So fact checking is correct if it is done correct. I mean, think about a college paper. You wouldn't put plagiarism in a college paper. Why are you putting, you would put credible citations in a college paper, and credible this and that. And you use words, and words are very powerful in the way that you use them, and adjectives are very powerful in creating emotion in what you write. But the problem is just, there's so many issues with the way that we're brainwashed into a false reality that ultimately doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. It only exists because we make it exist. And I go to Instagram a lot. I only go on there to look at memes or something funny. But when I see conservative news and I see that it gets fact checked, I'm like, how are we supposed to be a community if we can't even post our own opinions? And that is the moral of this video, is how, if we are supposed to interact with these community apps, how are we supposed to interact if even our opinions are fact checked, even though they are just opinions? And that is how I'm going to end this video, because it is just disgusting when you think about it like that, and people don't want you to think about it like that. But that's just how it is. Anyway, I catch y'all in the next video. Peace out and God bless.